Okay, let's go ahead and get started with today's webinar. We're going to be Let's Pay Your Drivers with Ease today. I am your host, Christy Camp. Our webinar will entail driver settlements, finalizing a driver settlement, marking settlement as paid, editing, voiding of driver payments, and then a brief Q&A. I do ask that you hold all of your questions until the end, and we will go over those when we have a brief question and answer session. So hold on. What is a driver settlement? Driver settlements show how you owe the driver. You can pay them, edit the driver settlement, or delete them. You can also add recurring deductions, add additional deductions, and also add reimbursements. We'll do it live. So hold on, and I'll be switching over to TruckLogics to show you how easy it is to pay your driver using TruckLogics. Your screen may turn black, but it's not anything to worry about. It's just me switching screens. Okay, as you see here, this is the TruckLogics dashboard that you would log in to see your account. And each driver settlement requires for the driver to be assigned to a dispatch. So you would click on your dispatches, and you'll see here my dispatch that is assigned today. So we're going to open up this dispatch, click on driver and equipment, ensure that the driver has been assigned, and then we're going to tap on the settlements tab. Each dispatch will require a settlement to be able to pay your driver through a driver settlement. Now you can set up how you want to pay your driver by a percentage, a manual pay, pay per hour, or pay by mile. As you see here, our driver is set up to be paid by a percentage. He gets 75% of the hauling fees, or he can get 75% of the hauling and fuel charges, or the total income. We're going to give him 75% of the hauling fees. You can also set up payment, the payment in the address book of the preferences of how you want each driver to be paid. This will automatically pre-fill, then you would not have to select it for each driver. That is completely up to you. A fuel surcharge payment can be added, a flat fee, a percentage, or by mile. And then you can have accessorial fees added, such as a stop off, a lumper, detention tarp, or you can add new. Also, you can add a reimbursement, reimbursements to office supplies or whatever the driver had to pay for out of his pocket. A popular one is tolls. That is completely up to you. You can save this as a draft. This gives the driver a review. It goes directly to his app, and he'll be able to review it and confirm it. But before you can pay this driver, you would need to finalize this settlement. This then marks it ready for payment. Here you have two options. You can click Mark for Payment Now, and it'll take you directly to the driver settlements, where you can review the driver settlement and the dispatch that your driver had driven for, review his percentage of pay. Again, you're given another chance to add accessorial fees or reimbursement. Or if there is a deduction that you're going to deduct his fuel cost, you can add that here. We'll add a fuel surcharge, or you can continue to add as you need, or you can delete as you don't need. So we're going to say fuel, and he had to give us back $200 for fuel. That will automatically get deducted from his driver settlement. He's been paid $11.25 for the settlement, and you'll see here that it deducted it. The driver settlement is going to be worth $925. You then save. You'll have to select the payment of mode, check, cash, credit card, or EFW, or ACH. We're going to write him a check. You can add any notes on here that you want, or a payment reference. Then you're going to click Save. Now you see that Owen has moved to the driver payments. We still haven't, you can view all the payments that you have made for him or any other driver under here. You can view the payments. This is where if you've made any mistake on the driver settlement, you are given the option to view, print, email, or void this payment. So let's void Owen's transaction because we messed up and we forgot to deduct something. That reverts it back to the driver settlements. So we're going to go back into pending payments. Here is Owen. So we'll go back and we're going to make this payment. We forgot to add tires on here. He had a busted tires that we had to pay for. So we're going to add his fuel of $200. And then we're going to add a tire because he had a busted tire. And that he got for $200 as well. But once you're going to select the payment method that you're going to pay him by as check. And at the top, you'll see that the amount has been reduced to $725. And then you can save it. And then you can now review Owen's payment one more time. He's been paid a total of 3 times since he's been a driver for us. We can view his payments. He was on 2 dispatches back in February and today's dispatch. Now, if you've made a complete mistake and you need to change the driver, let's say that Owen backed out and you mistakenly forgot to change Owen to another driver, you're going to have to undo everything you just did. So we're going to cancel Owen's payment by voiding it. That voids all the transactions that was taking place. You would then go back to his dispatch, click on the dispatch itself, go to the settlements tab, void the settlement. Do you want to void the settlement? Yes. And then if you need to unassign Owen and assign the correct driver, really Emily had taken this drive and truck 13 and then trailer 100, we're going to reassign her. You would have to re-add the routing, check calls, invoice, trip sheets, expenses for Emily. So then you would go click back onto your settlements tab. And as you can see here, Emily did not have a payment already in her address book, a payment preference. So we're going to say that she's going to get a manual pay of $500. There were no accessorial fees or reimbursements at this time. And then we're going to save it as a draft so that Emily can see it on her app. Once again, to continue on to filing this driver settlement, you would need to finalize this, mark it for payment, and then it takes you directly to the driver's payment, where we're going to add to her a fuel charge of $100. And we will select how we're going to pay her. We're going to send her electronic funds transfer. And then we're going to save it. So if you have a driver who has a reoccurring deduction, you can set that reoccurring deduction up here. You would hover over accounts, go to driver settlements, and then to the far left, reoccurring deductions, you would click that, and you're going to add a reoccurring deduction. So it was, let's say it's truck insurance. And it's going to be taken out weekly on Fridays because we pay on Fridays. It will say it starts today, but reoccurring deductions only move forward, meaning that even though you scheduled it for today, it will only happen the next pay period. You then will select the driver that you need that reoccurring deduction for. We're going to use Owen this time. The amount of the deduction, let's just say $50. and we'll save it. That we are going to leave this open-ended, and so that if he ever changes his amount, or if he ever quits working for us, we'll have to come in here and put an end date. Okay, but for now he's with us and we're just going to save it. So you see your reoccurring deduction schedules, that it's active, and then you can edit the reoccurring deduction. We actually should have made it $75, so you can make any changes that you want. But you have to make sure you click update to save those changes, or you can delete the reoccurring deduction altogether, or disable the recurring deduction. So let's go back to driver payments. Let's look at Reese Owens, view his history of payments. And here you will see the driver payment settlement. This is where you can print it, email it, or void it one more time. Or if you have, it shows the status that it is paid. We paid him a total of $3,100, and that he had a $20 fuel advance. And I'll show you how to make fuel advances or any type of advance that'll carry over to his settlement. So we're going to go back to our dispatch. We're going to click open the dispatch, and here where we assign the driver, right here is where you can make this driver's advance. But because we've already had a settlement in their name, we can't do that. So if they got an advance that we forgot about, we're going to have to go to driver settlements, driver payments, view the payment, void the payment that we made because we forgot that they received an advance, go back to the dispatch that they were assigned to, open that up, click on the settlements tab, void the settlement, then go back to the assign the driver, and you can make the advance here. So we're going to make an advance of $25. How did we make it? They used a fuel card. The advance type, it was for fuel. We can add a receipt or any kind of signed document that you want. It's completely up to you. And then you can select to notify your driver. You will then click save. Go back to your settlement. Manual pay or percentage pay. We paid her $500. And then again, you still have the choices of adding the accessorial or the reimbursements. Save it as a draft. And here you will see that her fuel advance that we made to her today comes off top of her settlement. We'll finalize the settlement, mark it for payment. And here you see $475 carried over to her driver settlement. She had a tire expense of $100. We're going to pay her by check. Then you can see at the top that it was reduced to $375, total deductions of $125. And it tells you each that this was made for this dispatch, what type of a deduction it was an advance, what it was for, when it occurred, and the amount. And then you're going to save, and you can view all of her previous payments. Now I'm going to show you how to set up the payment preference so that you do not have to remember each time to how you're going to pay your drivers. So you would go into your address book, select driver. Here is Emily. We're going to click on Emily's name, and it opens up to a screen where we see Emily's name, the type of driver that she is. We can add her address here. if you want, you're going to select payment settings and licensing info. You'll hit edit. We're going to switch her from a manual pay to a percentage pay. This will carry forward on future dispatches. It will not backdate the dispatch that you just paid her for. This will only move forward. So we're going to give her 30% of hauling fees. And if you have her CDL license number, you can enter that here, the state that she received her CDLs. Only the fields that are marked red by the red asterisk is required. And then you will save it. And now her payment setting is here. So each time you moving forward that you do a settlement for her, it will carry over to her driver so that you do not have to enter it each time. If your driver had more than one settlement to be paid for, those would appear under the driver settlements under pending payments. You could select how you want to pay them. So let's go and let's void Owen since he has 2 total payments. And that way we'll see how you can look and see at the how to pay both invoices. Or I mean both driver settlements. Make a payment. In here, you can see that he was assigned to 2 dispatches. So that means that you can either select both dispatches to pay him today, or you can select one. It is up to you, or you can also select a pay period and by pickup or delivery from a date to an end date. So we paid on February 1st. So let's do February 1st to the 24th of today. And that shows you that these 2 dispatches were within this time period. Or you can select a weekly or however you want. It's completely up to you how you want to do your books. Again, you have the option to add the accessorial fees, the reimbursements, and the deductions. Now here it automatically kept the $20 advance. Even though we voided the driver payment, we did not void the settlement. So therefore that advance will remain. So we're going to pick how we're going to choose to pay him. EFT electronic funds and save it. And now you can view the payments again and see that he was paid for 2 dispatches of a total of $3,080. And that is how you simply edit, how you pay, edit, or void or delete your driver settlements. We will be switching screens shortly, so just hold tight while I do that. And does anybody have any questions? Okay, since no one has any questions, I thank you for joining today's webinar. I would just want to give you a quick overview of our 2 great options to choose from now. To generate your IFTA report, we have an IFTA only option, which you can start generating your form for as little as $19.95 for a service provider or $24.95 if you are a business operator. Or again, you can choose to generate your IFTA return with your full TruckLogics TMS platform. As always, you can get in touch with us by calling us at 704-234-6946. One of our wonderful agents would be happy to help you. You can email us at support@trucklogics.com, and we're located in Rock Hill, South Carolina. Please follow us on TruckLogics, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Again, thank you and have a great day.